Great to smile. Pause for the thumbnail. Welcome, everybody, to the Souls and Stardust YouTube page. We are Shannon and Mio, and we have our readings today leading up into this eclipse energy. And so we've had a million questions come at us. I've had a bunch of DMs and a bunch of text messages and a lot of like fear-based, what the hell's gonna happen?
End of the world.
The world and this and CERN and this and what is this? And like genuine fear over something that the earth has been through and survived many, many times before.
Twice a year since the earth was it.
Since before people were here. And the earth did not need a TikTok astrologer to tell it what to do or what to be scared of or fearful of. Like, no. I follow the two main astrologers that I follow, aside from Seven. The Astrology Podcast, which is Chris Brennan and a whole bunch of other professionally trained astrologers that have been doing this way longer than TikTok pop astrology. Basically, even like Instagram and TikTok, like what they do is they take the same meme and they just switch out Taurus, Scorpio, Sagittarius, and they like basically fill in the blank. Too. And then every single thing that they comes out of their mouth is, this is the end of a new cycle. This is the end and the beginning of a cycle. And this is releasing what no longer serves you. It's the same shit. It's so weird over and over and over again. And I'm like, you didn't tell me shit. So anyways, yeah, the Astrology Podcast. And I like Adam Ellenboss also does Nightlight Astrology. Very just straight up factual, not a bunch of fear-based stuff. It's just like, here are, and they have really good episodes too. Like, here are the planets and the significations and everything. But also there are episodes where they're like, here's what else has happened in history with those similar placements. And yes, it's really fascinating to see the correlation between world history and astrological events. That's kind of where I geek out because it's stuff that you can actually compare. It's not a bunch of people. It's like living proof. Yeah. Yeah. And it's big shit too, right? Like it's big global scale type events. And I'm not talking end of the world type like that. I'm talking like shifts in government or shifts in, things passing or things happening or random events that are kind of, out of the blue. So all of that to say, don't be scared. Please, please, please. And don't send us shit. I don't have the energetic capacity to waste on fear-based things. I am living my life on the ground, dealing with people in person, on the phone, on text, like on a face-to-face, one-to-one level. I don't have time to sort through all this like shit being thrown at me from people that I don't even know or follow, and I can't speak on what they're talking about because I don't know their belief system. I don't know what the hell. And if it's just this one-off reel that you're sending me, like I'm gonna kind of know either in my intuition that this feels full of shit, this person feels full of shit, or I'm gonna feel like, okay, yeah, some of what they're saying is truth. Or, oh yeah, this person's cool, legit, and I know who they are because I follow them and I study, the same teachers that they follow and, from fucking like real scholars studying this. Like,
is it
science.
Grounded? Like,
right.
Is it grounded in some sense of, I want to use the word legitimacy, right? And just as an example, like I've been getting messages from people too, and it's interesting because there's a lot of things that are very fear-based that are out there right now. And don't do this, don't do that. And by the way, this is going to happen and you better prepare. I just had something sent to me this morning where this person was advocating filling your gas tank and getting non-perishable food because all this stuff was going to happen. And I'm just like, okay.
So we talked about this,
Mm-hmm.
right? Where we said, yeah, these places, these rural country or places in the country that are telling you to stock up and prepare are because they can't handle the infrastructure of a bunch of people flocking to their tiny town, like to
Yeah.
go watch this shit. It's like,
So there's this reel floating out there. I mean, there's this person on Instagram who has a shit ton of followers, and I've been sent a number of these reels from several people already. And I actually follow this person out of curiosity because I want to see how grounded they are in their information, and then what's the message that they're transmitting to millions of people, and how willing people are to take it up as fact, right? Like so this person was saying, like, isn't it bizarre that Niagara Falls, or like the area of Niagara, what are they, when they institute a state of emergency, like a week ahead of the eclipse? And isn't that bizarre that they would do that? So they're preparing for something big and they're not telling us. And I'm like, bitch, it's a tiny place. And they already have tourist traffic, but it's actually quite rural place, and there are predicted to be thousands and thousands and thousands of people who descend upon that area to be in the path of totality. And the only way that areas like that can get extra support for infrastructure for safety is by declaring a state of emergency, to have the resources available to pay for extra law enforcement, extra support for medical stuff. Like, that is the only way that they can free up resources available to them to pay for that shit. And they're thinking about, okay, we're going to have a lot of people here. And what happens if there is an emergency? What happens if there's some psycho that wants to go apeshit on a huge crowd of people, which is not unheard of here in the United States, right? They're thinking about that. They're not thinking about, oh my God, this is apocalyptic.
right.
And they're preparing for some, I don't know, explosion of the goddamn sun that's going to wipe us all out. No, they're actually trying to be proactive and make sure if there is anything that could happen, that they would have the resources available to direct traffic, to triage, to keep people calm, right? Like, oh my God. They're just paying for extra law enforcement
And
because there's going to be,
sometimes you have to do political workarounds to get shit
oh my
done
God.
because there are certain rules and regulate, like everything is tied to the other thing. And it's not just like, oh yeah, you guys gonna have an influx of people. Here's all this extra supplies for no reason, right?
Mhm. I mean,
So
I don't mean to sound cynical, and I don't ever want to discount somebody's intuitive experience, but when you have to actually take that information into your own body, into your own
mhm,
intuition, use your discernment. If it is a highly fear-based message, there's something wrong there, right? You have
agreed.
to listen to what your body says. And shit can go down any day like that we don't expect, right? There could be something that happens that's catastrophic, devastating. We have earthquakes all the time. We have large weather events. But if someone is consistently saying, like, this is going to be happening, you're going to be ascending and leaving your body, you have to do this, you have to do. I saw a person trying to capitalize on people's fear by offering a master course in how to prepare your spirit in your body for what's going to happen on this April 8th eclipse. And I'm like, if that is not the epitome of a charlatan and somebody who's trying to take
Right.
advantage of somebody's fear, I don't know what is, right?
Because
And
when you wake up on April 9th, the shit's April 9th and it's freaking normal and it's business as usual and you still gotta go to work, would you pull the course down?
yeah,
Like, do you archive that shit and you're like, oh,
I don't,
made $1,200 on that one.
it was
Like,
really upsetting. I didn't actually follow her link to see how much she was charging for it, but she was definitely like advocating, like, you need this course, you need to prepare. We all need to have our vibration high so that we can anchor in the highest timeline. You don't need a course to tell you how to do that. The only thing you need to do is be in gratitude, to
yeah,
express love from your heart space, to focus on your community around you. Being in fear is like the number one way you are going to lower your fucking vibration, right?
Yep.
And
I always see it like, when you're learning to ride a bike and you're just like you're in the high vibration of joy and excitement when you finally realize like I'm doing it, I'm doing it, I'm doing it. And then as soon as you look down, you shift your vibration, you shift your focus and attention, and now you're paying attention to the workings of it all, and that's
yeah,
when you fucking fall. That's
yes.
when you start getting tripped up on things because you're like
Uh-oh.
overthinking it. Yeah. Instead of just doing and being and letting it
Yeah.
like
I've been thinking a lot about this eclipse window and just what it's been doing for me. And I've been paying attention to what I would call like sophisticated astrology, like the astrology that's based in a long time of study. It's grounded. It's not pulling in all the channeled messages from the Galactic Federation of Light, right? Like whatever. It's it's talking about why this in particular eclipse in this eclipse window is so powerful. It's it's conjunct Chiron, right?
mhm,
It's conjunct Chiron, and that is the wounded healer, and that brings to the surface everything that you've struggled with and how you shine your light as a result of going through that challenge and what you end up bringing to the world because you've worked through that healing. It's a big fucking deal when it comes to what it's bringing up inside of you, uh, be it your demons, especially, right? Like, how are you healing so that you can actually be a better version of yourself and help humanity? That's why so many people are feeling the energy of this. Plus, eclipses um, historically have been associated with big Earth events. And we're in a Mercury retrograde, and there's some really powerful South Node shit happening. So a lot of people are feeling this inner turmoil, this bubbling to the surface. It's deeply, deeply uncomfortable for most
yep,
people. I can't tell you how many dozens of conversations I've had in the last 2 weeks where people are just like, man, I'm being worked over by this. And it's almost crippling. And I'm like, I'm right there with you. I get it. This is a hard one. I'm a
it is.
Libra. I am a Libra. I have a stellium in Libra. This eclipse is like South Node oriented,
Mhm,
which is your past. It's past life shit. It's how are you going to direct your ship forward as you step into your destiny? Like you can't take that shit with you. You've got to get rid of it. Sorry, I'm totally on a soapbox now. And here I was saying, like, I'm not well read enough to talk about this, but
I told you. I was like, it's fine.
I'm just, I just want to convey to people like don't find some other excuse or reason that is outside of yourself to have this eclipse window or this event be something fucking scary. This
Mhm,
is only ever been it's only ever been about your personal evolution and the
mhm,
evolution of humanity. It's not about anchoring timelines. It is, I mean, multiple timelines going on, but that's like the least of our concerns. It's about what we're doing in each moment with our energy and what we're focusing on. Is it going to be fear? Is it going to be love? And when we're focusing on these external things, like there's a lot of discussion about the 3 days of darkness, end of world, we're all ascending. If you're not doing this, you're going to miss the boat. I want to call bullshit. I don't believe it's all bullshit because I'm a spiritual being and I understand this path that we're on. But when they're talking about it like this, like if you don't do this, you're not going
yeah.
with this timeline, you're going to be stuck.
It's
No.
very rapture-y.
And what it's causing you to do is focus on things that are outside of you when you only come to this earth school to evolve your soul and to work as a soul group. It's not about It's not even about good versus evil and light and dark. Those are stories that we've made up in the human collective so we have something to work toward, right? Like in this earth school. And that's not to say that the whole spectrum doesn't exist. The universe is a grand experiment and we're all part of it. But when we're down here trying to live this, it does not serve us to focus on, oh God, we got to focus on all of these beings that are going to warp us into another existence because it's a shit show here. No, we came here to be a part of the shit show to figure out if we can problem solve it. That's part of our soul evolution. Like
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't serve us to wish to ascend out of it. It serves us to dig in and do the work that we said we would do at the soul level, each individual, and work together as a human collective. So my point is we're all focusing on something else and we're missing the entire fucking point, right?
Right.
And my little bit more soapbox, I think it's super irresponsible when people are out there channeling these messages from these cosmic groups. And that's not to discount people who are actually legitimate in doing that, but there are people out there that are pandering messages that are completely irresponsible, and it's
They're just
causing
parroting.
yeah,
That's
it's
all I feel.
causing a
It's like
lot of fear and
it's just
anxiety.
this.
It's a disservice.
Yeah.
And what I think we're seeing is the split in this community. Everybody's talking about the splitting of worlds. Well, I definitely see it. I see the people who are full of fucking shit, and I see the people who are legitimately working for the better of humanity, for the better of themselves and the souls around them, and who are actually compassionately, authentically in that space of service for growth versus people who are like, oh, I had a conversation with an ET and they told me this. Well, awesome, right? But there are lots of beings out there that can tell you a lot of shit. How do you know it's real? How do you know it's true? How do you know you're not being used as a vessel for destruction? Like discernment, people. Oh my gosh.
Discernment.
Okay. I'm totally off my soapbox now.
All right. You feel
Anyway,
better? You
yeah,
feel
I
better?
mean, I do. I've had a lot of truth come up, right, guys? A lot of truth come up, and
I just I feel, although there's been a lot of like shit go on around me, I feel very grounded in my truth and very grounded in like my baseline of like, do I really want to let this rile me up? Do I really want to take my focus from what I'm working on and move it to this other area and pour attention to these things? And like,
mhm,
no, no, like I gotta stay, some of us gotta stay here on the ground level working,
mhm.
right? And dealing with the very real people in front of us.
And I mean, I'm trained as a scientist, right? So we have this thing in when we're learning empirical science, there's this thing called Occam's razor. And what it is the definition of, the simplest like the best explanation is usually or the
Hmm.
most accurate explanation is usually the simplest one. And I step back and I look at all of this stuff, like all these
Hmm.
stories that are being told about whatever, right? And I always ask myself, okay, what is the simplest explanation here? It's not that in the case of Niagara that they're preparing, that there's some like event that's been orchestrated and they're waiting to like unveil it and they're preparing for emergencies because some shit's going to go down. No, the simplest explanation is they're trying to prepare for a huge influx of people. And the only way to do that safely is to declare a state of emergency so they have access to the resources to pay people to be in place to help keep everyone else safe. Like, that's the simplest explanation. Am I being naive? Mm, I don't know, maybe. And do I think that there's other things going on in the world that we aren't all aware of that are kept a secret? Absolutely. That's how
Sure.
governments work.
Yeah.
That's how power structures
That's
work.
how parenting works too.
That's how parenting works. Does it mean that, we're facing Armageddon tomorrow? And no, it doesn't, you guys. Like, use your discernment.
No.
Use the tools that you were given by God, and yes, I'm gonna say that, to listen to truth within you. Like, you'll get there. Don't be in fear about it. Okay. Anyway, Occam's razor.
Anyway, yeah. And astrologically, so you mentioned Chiron, Chiron being the wounded healer.
Mhm.
Um, that's why I feel like a lot of these wounds that have been coming up for not just myself, but the people around me that are opening up and sharing when they're like
Huge.
this big, big gaping childhood wounds
Mhm.
with one of their parents that's coming up. That's the theme that I've been coming across anyways, is the childhood parental wounds.
Mhm.
Um, we also have we still have Jupiter and Uranus conjunct in Taurus, which is Jupiter's the largest freaking expansion energy. That's the biggest planet. Whatever it touches, it expands. And Uranus is that sudden change and things out of nowhere and like tower moment type things where you're like, we're going this way, and then suddenly make a right turn.
It's destiny, right? Like eclipses and eclipse windows are about destiny as well. This is like destined stuff, which is why you're not supposed to be doing manifesting during the window because
What did I
it's,
say earlier? Everybody sit down and shut the fuck up and sit still and don't move.
yeah, you didn't say that
Everyone
on
just
our
be
recording,
cool.
but Mio was talking before we started recording. She was talking about, I think we need to just tell everybody to be calm and sit and listen and don't manifest. And there's a reason why astrologers tell you not to manifest on these moons during the window because the energy is very powerful. You are all feeling it in your body. You're all feeling it in your being. The energy is very chaotic and powerful. And if you don't know what the fuck you're doing with manifesting, it could go sideways really quick. And it
Sideways, backfire, the power of the word, of the intentions you set. A lot of it when you're trying to manifest off energy that's unpredictable,
Mhm.
you're going, I want this, and so I'm going to set this, but then the universe is like, oh, okay, I'm going to take that literally, and then it leaves you going, oh, but not like that. When I meant to manifest this, but I didn't actually mean literally. And then and it's like, oh no,
Yes.
girl, you said
It is,
this.
it's powerful, chaotic energy. You really have to know what you're doing if you're manifesting. And in fact, I saw an affirmation. There's a woman that I follow that does all these really wonderful affirmations every day. And she uploaded a spell, like, because I think she's a little bit witchy. And she uploaded a spell about um, love relationships. And I don't have it memorized word for word, but basically, it said, my lover, and you would name the name, is totally obsessed with me. My energy is addictive, alluring,
Mm,
and magnetic or something like that. And I read that and I was like, wow, if you
careful
say
what you
that,
wish for.
yeah, like what could come out of obsessiveness? What could come out of someone being obsessed with you? I immediately go to restraining
Stalking.
orders. I immediately go to restraining orders or something worse. Like somebody is so obsessed with you that if they can't have you, no one else can. And I'm like, ooh, I don't know if that's such a great affirmation. And especially like if you're gonna start saying that shit in a
And
an
it's
eclipse
and
window,
Aries energy. Aries rules the first house, and it's very self-centered.
aggressive, impulsive, right? It's
It's
very
very
directed and
impulsive.
leadership oriented, but like in that unhealed state, it's you
Narcissistic,
act
and it's
first, you think later.
selfish. Yeah.
Mhm.
And I would not say those words.
I wouldn't either. I looked at it and I saved it and I was like, I wonder how I could adjust that so it's actually more uh, um, reflective of your best and it's good, right? Like it's
Right.
not damaging. So yeah, don't be doing any manifesting, you guys, until I would say a week after this eclipse is over. And it's like you had said, this is the Tower card. Um, it's these unexpected changes at Jupiter and Uranus conjunction. It's you just have to let go. You just have to relinquish control and you just have to say, okay, for my best and highest good, whatever this may be, you guys, there are so many things being eclipsed out of our lives in this window. Again, dozens of conversations from people,
Yeah.
like what's happening? This was good
There's
and it just dissipated. And I'm like,
Well, aside from that, there's also this Mars Saturn conjunction right now in Pisces. Mars is Aries energy,
mhm.
and that will cut shit off. And Saturn is the planet of constriction.
Constriction and
And
time and
so it's
boundaries.
like things being cut off and ending, and um getting very real, because like once Mars entered Pisces, it's like reality check, because and especially Venus finally left Pisces too. So in your love and relationships, it left this watery, dreamy. I literally was telling everybody in my close friends story too. I was like, just let me be delusional through Pisces season, because once Aries season hits, shit's
It
gonna
gets
get
real.
real. And
Mhm.
that's exactly what happened for me, where I'm like, oh, here we go, here we go. And it's like going through the part at Disneyland where you're like, all right, I'm going through the ride, getting ready. And then now we're going click, 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 click. And you're like, oh, here we go.
Yep.
Now we're really building up to something here.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, Mars, Saturn is just like
Yeah,
all right, how's that
it's
feeling?
tough energy. So just be tender with yourselves, and also whatever you can do to just kind of let go, just surrender to it. I know I'm having
There's
big lessons around surrendering right now.
there's a
So
lot, yeah.
there's a lot. Okay.
I'm not the best at that.
Oh
I'm
God.
learning. It's a practice.
It's
I
definitely a
do
practice.
it. I realized that I was having a hard time surrendering. I tried to do one of my floats the other day, and I just could not release mentally because I was so tied into my thoughts. I couldn't leave my body. I was so stuck in my head. It was just like, just let go, just stop. It was like trying to fight a nap. I was
I
just like,
hate that. That's so
God,
hard.
come
I
on,
realize
you wanna relax, don't you?
I realize I don't have one of my favorite decks, and I need to go grab that. So give me
Go
just
ahead.
one moment.
Go ahead. I can start pulling. So today, if you paid for a reading, let us know in the comments if you already prepaid, because if you are live and here right now, we will move you up to the front of the line to read you while you're here. Um, so we had a handful, yeah, we had a handful of readings come through. So like I said, if you paid for a reading, put it in the comments or text one of us so we can move you up to read you right now. Oh, the other thing before we actually get started on our readings, April 26th to the 28th, mark your calendars here in Las Vegas. Shannon is coming. We're going to be doing our Souls and Stardust sleepover at my house. Room is limited here at the house, but there's also hotels and Airbnbs nearby if you want your own space. But we have a couple rooms here, and it's going to be real low key, but it's going to be like having a sleepover with us and doing all kinds of spiritual intuition development exercises. There are a couple things that we are going to bring back that we loved at our November retreat. That is the intuitive art session,
Mm,
um, as well as the past life um,
regression.
group regression
Mhm.
meditation.
Yep, it's a
Um,
meditation.
we have a 1 hour sound bath with my friend Sable. I just booked and paid for that this morning or last night. So yay. So that's official. 1 hour of Sable sound bowls. She has so much power and energy when she does her sound bowls. It's not quiet. It's like the shit bounces off the walls and in through your body and through every fiber of your being. And to be able to experience that for an hour, I'm really excited for that. Um, so yes, I
I'm
have to
excited
check.
too.
I have to check out and see what's going on with our website because literally, you want to talk eclipse season and Mercury retrograde right at 8 a.m. when we're getting ready to go live. Something happened to our website, and we got all these notifications that all of our memberships and courses and things canceled, like all these like cancellations. So something happened. I gotta check it out after we get off. But all right. So let me write down the time so I can timestamp. We are at 30 minutes exactly. Okay. So I pulled these while we were talking. I got
Is
full
this
moon in Aries, a
for
fiery climax.
is it for someone, or is this general?
This is just general.
Okay.
Yeah. Fiery climax approaches full moon in Aries. So again, the moon does not like to be in Aries. The moon is soft and watery and loves to be in Cancer and Taurus and all these places where it's loved and well received. So having the moon in Aries is very agitated. But then we also got full moon in Capricorn. The end of a tough cycle approaches. This could be something in business
You were just
or
talking about everybody says the same thing, the end of a tough cycle, the beginning of
oh
the
right,
new
right, right.
era.
Full moon. But I see it as like, okay, there's a fiery climax and then the climax leading to the end of to the end.
I'm just
Because
kidding.
no. Yeah.
It's just
Which
funny.
I try to expand upon what is
Right.
exactly ending. And so when I
And
see
why?
Aries,
Yeah.
Capricorn, yeah, yeah, I try to not be super generic, like,
Mhm.
especially when I'm doing
Yeah,
my
that
readings.
doesn't help anybody.
But
So
what's
I
interesting though,
oh,
sorry,
go
I got
ahead.
one more. Um, so I got the full moon in Cap, but then I also got the new moon in Cap.
Mm.
So maybe a lot of what this energy could be coming through for people is like not only their strength and independence of their themselves and testing their own autonomy and who they are in that Aries energy of that self, that sense of
Mhm.
self, but like who are we in our what we're building and our legacy? Who, because Capricorn is 10th house energy, and yeah, you associate it with the father figure, the career, but it's about ambition and legacy and what we leave
Mhm.
behind. That's 10th house stuff.
Stability. Yep.
That's Cap stuff right there. So I've been facing that. I've been literally at this point in my life going, okay, I'm not just this. How do I showcase and be all of these, the multifaceted parts of me and showcase this to the world so I can help people, but also live true to myself, but
Mhm.
also make money so I can, survive in this human body. Like, how do I be me and still serve the world? Right.
Right.
And so I feel like that's a lot of Aries energy. And then this Cap energy coming through.
Mhm.
Bottom of the deck, surrender to the divine.
Oh, surrender.
And it's just a generic full moon one.
Yeah.
What you got?
I pulled the Page of Wands, which is about like expansion and exploration and new ideas, new discovery. I do feel like this period that we're going through right now, this eclipse window is like wiping the slate clean, so to speak. It's clearing away a lot of stuff. A lot of people are having
Correct.
purging from their lives happen. Page of Wands is about limitless potential. It's about forward movement. It's about inspiration. It's excitement. It's freedom. It's going out and seeing what's possible. So that's beautiful energy. Um, but I also pulled the Six of Wands in reverse, which that's in the reverse. Like when it's in the upright, that's about victory. When it's in the reverse, that's about feeling like maybe your ego is getting the best of you, and it can be a lack of confidence. It can be imposter syndrome. It can be feeling like you're not being recognized for the things you need to be recognized for, or feeling almost discredited. So it's like there's all these things you want to move toward, and the energy is setting us up for that. But there's these things that you have to get beyond about yourself, like this lack of confidence. How are you giving yourself away and not getting something in return? Um, it's about celebrating your achievements or being not celebrated. So where are you focusing your energy, and where are you applying yourself or even pouring yourself out into that is actually underappreciated or not appreciated at all? So I feel like that's a lot of what this energy is trying to show us, is that we are limitless, but you can only be limitless if you stop doing the things that actually hold you back.
So, is that what you got for?
Yep. That's what I
So here are your I am statements that you're going to want to focus on for today. Well, not just today, but what you can write down and focus for this week. The one that flew out first, which I think is very, very, very on point to what we were talking about earlier. I am grounded. And when you're saying the words, visualize yourself as like even a tree or something with roots, and let those roots
Yeah.
dig in to the truth and dig into what resonates as truth for you. Dig into this earth of grounding energy, so that the deeper the roots go, the more the wind comes, the more the rain
Mhm.
comes, the more other people that come around you that are going to shake your trees, shake your branches and your leaves and trying to tell you what's truth. You're not going to be easily swayed with that.
Right.
I am grounded. But then next, what's interesting, I was like, how does this tie in, right? I am light. Because then I'm like, all right, we're also the light that's coming in. We're also shedding light on the darkness.
Right.
And if you think of light as truth, again, I can hold it up and look at it and from all different angles and
Right.
aspects
hmm
and inspect that and see, just like under a microscope, right? I'm releasing negativity.
I did a bunch of that just a little bit ago.
Bottom of the deck, I am starting fresh.
Yeah. It's just wiping the slate clean, I think. Right.
All right. So, collective energy. Let me just pull tarot.
Yeah. What else for the collective energy?
And again, if you're watching and you paid for a reading, let us know in the comments so that we can move you up to the top because we're about to start our mini reading portion. All right. What is the energy?
Ooh.
Uh,
I got think logically.
again,
Yeah.
I love it.
And then yes, without a doubt. So take that how it resonates.
So I got High Priestess in reverse,
Oh.
which is interesting because normally she's our intuition, right?
Yeah.
So this is repressed intuition or confusion, some cognitive dissonance. So all the messages coming through are stay grounded, use your intuition,
Your
think logically
discernment.
though, because you could do
Mhm.
both. You could still think logically and use your intuition because you can bring the information in through and process it here and let it sit into your intuition here to see what
Mhm.
feels right or not.
I also got loosen your grip and let things unfold naturally. And exactly how red do you need those flags to be? Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah. So pay attention. Pay attention. What are you choosing to overlook that you need to be paying attention to?
All right. So you ready to start our first reading?
Mhm.
38, 37. Okay. So first we have
SB.
SB, which I actually had a feeling we were going to read for SB because I saw a license plate that I thought was this person's last name. And then, of course, as I got closer, I was like, oh, that's not what it says at all.
Oh, how funny.
I was like, oh, my bad. All right, SB. What is the current eclipse energy? We invite in SB's ancestors, guides, loved ones, messages from their higher self. So something's coming together. I see like my cards are coming together real equally and nicely. So something's coming together for SB.
Ugh. Right, but I feel like of the whoever this person is, like I feel like they're being impatient with some stuff. Like there's some delays
Oh my
that.
God. I just pulled the Ace of Wands in reverse, which
Oh,
is the delay card.
yeah. Um,
So yeah, some sort of blockage or lack of
well, there's
movement.
like competitive energy. So I feel like this person's fighting for something or like competing for something or there's conflict or some kind of like push-pull energy and it's creating a little bit of tension. So at the 5 of Wands, and that actually came out together with the 2 of Pentacles, which is about like trying to balance things. It's trying to figure out how to hold different priorities at the same time. It's also time management, balancing decisions. So this person may be in a place where there's this push pull tense energy of having to make some choices or not knowing like the best way to balance something. You're doing it like that card's in the upright, but you're juggling. So that's interesting energy. You just need to be adaptable. I feel like you're also being impatient. Like the 8 of Wands in reverse, it's about delays in or like quietness in communication, and that can be frustration on your part or needing to hold off on something because you have to, and that's also causing tension. Like you really want to get this done, but it's you have to wait and be patient. Wow, I feel like this is speaking to me too. It's so funny. This is also just like it can be panic because things aren't moving as quickly as you want them to. So just check in with yourself and ask like, what do I have control over? And you focus on that and then let go of the things you don't have control over. Because I also got the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. So this is like on the cusp of Capricorn Sagittarian energy. This is feeling like you need to focus on your work or your home. There's conflict. You may be feeling like really narrow minded or just kind of self absorbed because you're thinking about this thing. This thing is taking up a lot of thought energy for you. Um, it so just watch how you're focusing your energy or watch how you're managing your energy and what you're choosing to focus on instead of like what you need to focus on. So you need a little bit more self-care. You also need to I feel like there might be the energy of like envy or jealousy that things are working out faster for other people and you're sitting there waiting for things to happen for you. I wish I knew the context of what this is about, but it's you have to be patient. There's delays. And you have to figure out how to juggle these different things and make choices about what you're investing your energy in and what you have to let go of for now, because you can't control it anyway. That's what I got so far.
I got that Ace of Wands in reverse, right? And so that's right when you were saying the word delay. It's literally the delayed blocks, lack of passion or lack of energy, some sort of hesitancy. And so
Yeah.
there's like nothing's happening yet because there's no like gas in the tank for that. But then I got the King of Cups in reverse, which is an overwhelm card. Cups are our emotions and our feelings and stuff like that. And so normally this is like a very balanced head and heart. Like this is like being overwhelmed emotionally or overwhelmed, anxious. It could be like a withdrawn energy. That's also Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio energy there. And it's funny because now that I've made that comment, I hate when they say like the the end of a cycle, blah blah blah. Literally, the card I pulled afterwards was Inner Earth. You'll survive this. New solutions and beginnings. So I think spirit's like making fun of me now. Like, oh, really, bitch? We're gonna make sure you pull every single fucking card that talks about the end of a cycle.
Well, it is cycle upon cycle upon cycle and cycles within cycles. So,
True.
I mean, that is the case. It's just not helpful when people use it as like a blanket statement.
Generic, yeah.
Yeah. I pulled Stop Obsessing, which goes beautifully along
Mm.
with the cards that I pulled too. And I also got Not Yet. So like you're being told like you have to be patient because things are unfolding as they need to.
Your dreams need a practical plan. Full moon in Taurus. So if this is work related, money, actually Taurus energy is also the fertility.
Is that what they're waiting on? Do you know?
Possibly.
Okay.
Oh, but at the bottom of the deck, new romantic cycle begins, Libra. So if it is a fertility thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's saying there is something that's going to happen. But that full moon in Taurus saying it needs a practical plan. This is the energy. And I know this might seem super. Okay, so let's just say it's work related. Okay, which it feels kind of like I can feel there's some stuff work related popping through energy wise. Like it's never just one thing for people, right? Practical plan is like, all right, if I need to move my way up in this company, if I need to do this, maybe I need to go and interview with some other places and get some offers so that I can present these offers to my job and be like, hey, these people want me and they're willing to pay me 50 grand more a year to do what you're paying me to do. And they actually want me over there. So, you know, that could be something like that. If it's fertility, like what's coming up with the Taurus Libra energy, that is okay, if we're trying to get pregnant, we need to make sure that we're tracking our periods, our ovulation. We take our ovulation tests. We know where our window is so that it's not just like there's methods to it, right?
Mhm.
There's methods and science behind the human body and how these things work. So if it's that, it's not just leaving it to chance, right? But being fully aware of your body and when you're what's happening and when. So
I pulled the surrender card. So again, focusing your energy on what you can control and pulling back on the things that you can't control and letting them play out. I also got the communication card. So that could be you needing to establish boundaries, could be you needing to advocate for yourself, sell yourself more. It could be that you need to have better communication with your partner about desires and hopes and dreams, if there is a partnership there.
let's see what your I am statements are. All right, so your I am statements that you need to focus on for this week. I am safe. I am loving myself. And I'm loved. I am safe. I am loving myself. I am loved. And if things don't work out the way that we want and hope in our timing, it doesn't mean you're unloved and it doesn't mean you're being punished in any way, shape, or form by
Mhm.
God, universe, whatever. Um, yeah. Let me see.
I mean, I did pull a couple more cards from my other tarot deck, and I got the Seven of Swords in reverse. So that can it can be the energy of feeling like something was taken from you or stolen from you. But it also is the need for perspective and like being really honest with yourself. Um, it can also be being held back by imposter syndrome. And that came up already in some previous cards that I pulled. So if this is like work related and you feel like you need something better and but you're not worthy of it or you can't do it, like that's what's holding you back. Um, or, as Mia was saying, if it has to do with fertility or love and relationship, this could be like, what is it that you feel? This is about worthiness. This is about what you feel like you can or can't do, that's holding you back. So, am I good enough for this? Do I deserve this? Am I looking to other people for validation of myself? And this was paired with the High Priestess in reverse, which you pulled that already.
Mm-hmm.
You pulled that already. So this is like, I really feel like this is you not trusting yourself. And when that card came up, it can be like keeping secrets. It could be about gossip or hidden agendas. But this, I think for you, or I feel for you, is about really not paying attention to your inner voice, not trusting yourself and how accurate it can be. And you're like consistently looking to other people for that reassurance or validation or for permission to
Mm.
do whatever you need to do. And that's got to be the cycle that's ending for you at this point. Like we keep seeing that cycle ending message, and it's time for you to actually step into how your body can tell you exactly what's happening and why. So
Yeah.
that's what I
The
got.
last two I pulled were understanding and intuition.
Ow. So,
Both inward
yep.
cards, inward focused motion. Bottom of the deck is the abundance card.
I love that.
All right, so that was SB. Okay. All right, we got 51. Okay, so next we have IW. Okay, IW. I have one card in my deck that's like got water on it or something, and it's messing up the rest. It's driving me nuts. Okay. Oh, we got a new comment. All right. Hello, Bobby. You will be next. All right. This
Okay.
is for IW. I feel like I get this every time we read for her.
What'd you get?
So here's your I am statements for this eclipse week. I am in alignment. I feel like we pull that almost every time for her. I'll have to go back to the other readings or ask her. I am in alignment. I am in alignment. I am never alone. Hell nah. Sorry, my hair got stuck in the deck.
Wish I could remember the circumstances that we've read for prior.
I am loving myself. There's job changes.
Right.
That's what came up the last time. Some job shifts and changes. I am in alignment. I'm never alone. I am loving myself. Bottom of the deck, I am supported. So focus on those.
Mm-hmm. I did pull the 3 of Swords in reverse. So that's healing. That's it's releasing pain. It's moving forward beyond hurt. It can be grief. It's forgiveness. Moving forward, really, like you're moving forward. I also pulled the Ace of Wands in reverse. So that's like a lack of action, delays. It could be a lack of energy or motivation. You may be feeling a little bit like held back or kind of just like in the doldrums right now. Maybe you feel like you know something needs to change, but you just can't see what that is, or you don't know the way forward. So it's that feeling of being weighed down and not really having the energy to, like, I see somebody who just can't get out of bed or can't get off the couch. And I'm not saying that that's what's happening for you, but it's like this energy of like, oh gosh, I don't know how to take the first step. I did also.
You said first step, and literally I pulled the baby steps card.
Oh, yeah.
Where it says follow your intuition before it makes sense.
Mm-hmm. I pulled the Justice card, and that's a lovely card. This card of Libra. It's fairness. It's getting what you deserve. It's equality, balance. It's all of those things. It's truth. It's clarity. So that's coming. Like you're coming into that. And I also got the World in the upright. So the ending of a cycle. It's funny. So the World,
Sorry,
it's
that's
about
our joke this whole
completion. It's you're literally like, that's the last card in the major arcana for the tarot. Like you're completing this part of the journey, so you're getting ready to be the Fool again and start something new. So I think for job stuff, that's a really amazing thing. Like you're finally coming to the end and you have something to look forward to, but you feel a little bit stuck at the moment. And that's, I think, this eclipse energy. I think it's the Mercury retrograde energy. So this is attainment, fulfillment. It's it could be literally traveling. It's arriving at your destination or arriving at the next thing that you get to begin. And so you have to have confidence. This is the Empress in reverse. You are doubting yourself right now. And it's like blocking you. It's blocking you creatively. It's blocking you motivationally. It's causing you to be impatient. And you feel dependent upon others. And that makes you unhappy. So just, leaning into these feelings and knowing that as you persist, that the way forward is going to be shown to you. Like that energy is shifting. I imagine in the next couple of weeks, you're going to actually have some breakthroughs and you're going to have more motivation.
The two that fell out for me, I got luck is on your side, New Moon and Sag. So it's kind of interesting because I was looking at that while you were pulling there might be some travel coming up
Mm-hmm.
because Sagittarius is representative of like foreign countries and travel. It's ninth house energy in astrology. And
Yeah.
so luck is on your side is like maybe you do have some bigger things coming up and happening that are like um on a bigger scale and getting out of your head and into the world kind of thing. This fell out with it together. A personal issue reaches resolution, full moon in Cancer.
Oh, good.
Cancer energy is our maternal energy and it's our family life. And so something working itself out with just home life in general. Cancer energy just wants to make sure everybody's safe and protected and okay, right? Bottom of the deck was hold your vision.
Mm-hmm. And I think like the patience part, I got slow down. So not that you're moving too fast, but I think you need some perspective, right? I think you're getting caught up in
Mm,
the tension or the pressure of it all. It definitely you're settling, like what you're ready for something more, and you need to focus on whether or not it lights you up. So
yeah,
think
this.
logically, but does it light you up?
So with the think logically card, right? That's the Ace of Swords. Sorry, backwards. Ace of Swords is about clarity and like breakthrough and having focus. And then the Two of Wands comes in, and this is like planning and the first steps and making decisions and leaving the comfort zone. It's also travel plans. So this clarity and planning is
Mhm.
what's the energy coming through for you. Sorry, I can hear my toilet refilling. I don't know how to make that stop.
Is that what that is?
Yes. Let me go shut that door. I always do that every single live. I'm like, I forget to shut the door to my downstairs bathroom.
All right, let's just see what else comes up for IW. I got this is divinely interwoven and magical as F. Here I am, like censoring myself when I was swearing a
We
lot
were
earlier.
totally, yeah. I don't,
I know, but YouTube is censoring a lot of stuff with swear words in it now.
yeah, but we get censored anyways. And the people who watch our stuff, it's not like our shit ends up in like, it's like our people watching our stuff. They know we cuss.
This love defies explanation. So, I know this is like the love and relationship deck, but this is about you trusting your pathway and about loving your process. And if you focus on that vibration of love and expansion through your heart space rather than fear and worry, I just saw 5757. So you're going to have to look up that as an angel number. You really you gotta pay attention to where you're focusing your energy and what kind of a vibration it has so that it's also not holding you back. So anything with anxiety or fear or worry is going to slow down your process because you're telling the universe that you want to have control over the process um and it just wants you to trust it to bring you exactly what you need when you need it.
Just as she said, trust it. Trust your fucking vibes on this. You already know the answer. I love when we're
I
synced
know.
up like that. Same brain.
Same brain.
Same brain. Maybe you got
Oh,
some.
yeah, you're like totally in your head about this. This is Nine of Swords. It's a nightmares card, right? So what is it what's the story you're telling yourself that's not serving you? It's actually causing things to um, be more complex than it
Yep.
has to be.
Yep. Get out of your head.
Yeah, and maybe you're like maybe that doldrums that I'm feeling, that lack of motivation is because you're kind of having a shitty attitude about some stuff. You might just be feeling down. So the sun in reverse is like the sun is the most positive card in the deck. So when this is in reverse, this is like a lack of optimism. So just, focus on gratitude, focus on like your most ideal situation and hold that vision. pulled that card for you, the whole division card, right? So
Oh, it just dawned on me. The Ace of Swords with the Two of Wands. It might not be travel. I think it might be
mm, like moving households.
moving cities, moving households, moving cities. Like a because then the Two of Wands, it's like she's looking across, right?
Mhm. Yeah, so this is the need to tune out a negative mindset or, addressing your
Ooh.
self-doubt or lack of confidence. So that's a couple of cards now that you've had on a lack of confidence. So how are you selling yourself short? What's the story you're telling yourself in your head about not being good enough?
What's microcosm again?
Microchasm
Big picture.
is big, yeah.
So healing energy with
Like,
microcosm.
no, macrochasm is big, micro is small. Micro is small, macro is
Okay.
huge. It's opposite for a photographer because a macro lens is something you use to make something very small very big.
Oh, right. I think that's why my brain confuses it every time because
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, macro lens on my
So
100 millimeter macro lens.
macro is the big picture, so think of it that way, like, I use a macro to get a big picture of something small,
Duh.
but
Okay.
macrocosm is like the universe. Microcosm would be the universe within us.
Well, whatever. Transformation. So let this healing process transform you on the cellular level.
I think she's I think she's learning about like, so much about herself, like, all this is bringing anxiety, and it's teaching her how she needs to manage that and how she needs to address, like, what gets carried away in her brain and, how to, like, reorient the focus back to what's true, what's real, what's facts, and what needs to be done.
Mm-hmm. All right. So that was IW. Next we have 10323. BB 10323. I have to timestamp that. So if those numbers are significant to you, let us know. Threes. I keep seeing a lot of threes. All right, BB. Let me pull up the comments. Let me know if you're still here.
Okay.
I am protected. So here's your IMs to focus on this week. Ugh, all this hair. Chop it all off. I am grounded, which we pulled earlier today for the collective energy. So making sure you stay grounded this eclipse season and knowing you're safe, right? You're protected, you're grounded, you're safe.
Bobby said she's here.
Fabulous. I'm releasing what is no longer aligned with my vibration.
Okay, so I pulled the Seven of Swords in reverse. So that is the energy of coming clean about something. It can also be like strategizing or rethinking your strategy for something. It can symbolize deception, but this is in the reverse. So it can be like self-deceit. So how are you kidding yourself? What are you kidding yourself about? Or what are you hiding from away from within yourself so that you don't have to face it? So it can also be keeping secrets. And I think it'll make sense as I get through the rest of these cards. So with that came the Two of Cups. So that is the energy of emotion. It's a lot of times it's like it's the lower grade version of the Lover's card in the tarot, but it's about partnership. It's about love. It's about sharing, mutual attraction, but it can also be just agreements. So what is it that you're not being honest with yourself about with regard to agreements? This could be like a business arrangement too, or it just could be like that level of the relationship where, um, and it could be any kind of relationship, right? Where you need to be honest with yourself and with the other partner in that about what's truly happening. I pulled, so 4 cards came out and I pulled this, so I pulled out the Devil card as well, and this is about your shadow self. It's about what do you feel tied and bound to? It's attachment. What do you feel extraordinarily attached to, in almost in like an addictive way, or you just can't seem to break free from that attachment. It can be feeling restricted. It can be destructive behavior. I don't think you have destructive behavior, but I feel like this can be like more of like codependency. How am I depending on other people in order to do the things in my life that I would like to do? And how is that causing a dynamic that's not healthy? So looking at within, right, and re-strategizing about agreements that you have with people and how you're feeling extraordinarily attached to them. This is also like a soulmate card too. So whatever lessons are coming with this card, or like with you and with the people involved, are showing you a lot about yourself, and it's about breaking that cycle, or about being able to ultimately release from that. So like you're tied and bound to something right now, and it's probably a major lesson for you. And I got the 9 of Wands, which is like the wounded warrior card. So that's about resilience. It's about grit. It's about having courage and persistence. It's also a test of your faith. It's about boundaries, um, feeling weary, but still standing, right? Still standing, and you're carrying your burdens and you're trying to figure that out. So I feel like you're just going through some really big lessons right now. And it's like, where within myself do I need to really be honest about what needs to be addressed? And I know you've been doing a lot of that work.
I got a time to give rather than take. New moon in Virgo. Conclusions are within reach. Full moon eclipse. The answers you need are coming.
Good.
Full moon in Gemini. Bottom of the deck is look at the bigger picture. Full moon in Sag. And then when I was shuffling the tarot cards, I got Knight of Pentacles and the Sun that came out together. And so Knight of Pentacles this is that slow moving energy, but it kind of came out around the time where you were saying this could be like business partnership or something business related. And then Pentacles energy, to me, that is, that's more that Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn energy of this could be a slow build of a business, right? This could be slow moving agreements, or, working towards that so that you can have what makes you happy and what's going to bring the light in, right? Bottom of the deck, Temperance in reverse.
Oh, that's impatience.
Yep.
And that's like trying to mix oil and water, basically, trying to mix energies that don't mix well.
Or that aren't ready to, because they're, I was watching some video where this guy was like trying to do the hot chili oil thing, and he's pouring it in a hot mason jar, and the whole thing cracks and just breaks because it's like, well, that wasn't prepared for that amount of heat. And so it's going to crack, it's going to break if you are trying to do too much too soon, or something that isn't in alignment with what it can handle. There's also this energy that I was feeling while I was shuffling, is like, I kept feeling like I'm trying to hold too much in my hands. And I was just like pulling. Yeah, I was pulling too many cards, and it felt that energy of like, I'm trying to do too much. I'm holding too much. And then I keep worrying about how I look and how, like, in her energy, and maybe uh, it's just very much like concerned to how I appear to others. Um, it was really like this surreal, like out of body experience for just like a blip of a second where I just felt
Mhm.
like I was looking at myself from the outside and just wondering, like, how do people view me, or that type of
Yeah, having that
um
concern of how you're received.
how, yeah.
Yeah, and that could be the devil card too. Like what am I bound to about myself where I feel like I'm not worthy? That's like it could be destructive behavior that way. Codependency. Whenever this card comes up, I think about codependency. Like how is that showing up? And in my life it's showing up in huge ways, right? That I wasn't really aware of until just recently. And so just being really honest with ourselves about how is it that I'm relying on other people for external validation of my life and or even just like permission to do things or reassurance of my own intuition or my own thoughts or um basically how will people receive me if I say or do this. I got to make sure that that's right first, which I think it's good to be responsible with what we say, but we also don't need to defer to somebody else all the time to um to participate in the conversation, right?
Yeah, and I feel like I just keep being brought to this Aries energy, right? This first house, house of self. What is happening internally with yourself? What kind of transformations? Oh, I just saw one all the way across.
Oh, nice.
Um, and I pulled these two, and it's all ones.
Oh,
And I
right
just hadn't read
on.
them yet, but they were 11, 11, 11, 11. And then that said one. So again, first house, house of self. How do I view the world? How is the world viewing me? What is the lens to which I view myself? And as this energy that I feel, um, I feel like this transformation is happening, but I'm also looking to others as like bouncing that sonar, right? Back off of them so that I can bounce back to know how they're viewing, how they're seeing. But also, like, the big part of what I hear right now is making sure when you are reflecting back that first house, that self, that you're not just bouncing back the people around you. You're not just reflecting back the people that are in your circle. You're individually yourself. And you are Aries, first house. You are yourself. You are not just the culmination of the people in your circle, if that makes, hopefully that makes sense. Does that make sense what I'm trying to say?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. I'm like, blah, 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 blah. So it's crazy all the ones that just popped up though. This one says 1111, take me home, pathway to true love. So this is with all the ones, this is your pathway back to yourself.
Mhm.
This is oh, birthday's on Friday. Okay, so all the Aries energy, that's definitely why I'm feeling all of that surrounding you.
Yeah, she's
Um,
an Aries Sun, a Gemini moon, and I can't remember her rising.
so this is the compassion card. So having, it says higher heart opening. So the pathway to true love and the compassion and the higher heart opening, having compassion on yourself as well as others. Um, oh, bottom of the deck is set loving boundaries. Open your heart. So feeling comfortable in who you are, feeling good in your own skin, feeling we're not comparing ourselves to, oh good. I'm glad you get what I'm saying. Oh, Leo rising, me too.
I pulled from my other tarot deck and I got 4 cards that all came out together and they all came out in the reverse. So you're definitely being
Ooh.
challenged. Yeah, there's definitely some challenge energy that's happening for you right now. So I got the King of Pentacles in reverse. And this is like wanting stability, but not having it. Like its stability is out of reach. It's the need to create strong foundations. It's also um, it can be like focusing too much on money and not enough on the other things that create balance in the situation. Like, remember the reason why you're doing this, right? Like, I
Mm,
want to tell you to come back to the very authentic reason or motivation for why you're doing all of this. Um, So like this could be like essentially missing the bigger picture, getting really caught up in some details of all of this and missing the bigger picture of why. I am so sorry. I'm actually reading the wrong card. That's the
But you
Ace of
said
Pentacles.
but you said big picture, and I pulled big picture thinking.
Yeah. Awesome. So I'm sorry. So the King of
So that was
Pentacles,
not an
like this
accident.
is the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. I grabbed the wrong card. I'm so sorry. So this is a need to create strong foundations and remember like the reason why you're doing this. This is a gift from the universe. That Ace of Pentacles is like, here, I'm giving you the seed to start. And what are you going to do with it?
You just said remember, and I pulled I remember.
Nice.
We're
So
dude, we're
this
fucking on this shit
we
today, man.
are. So this is a need to prioritize or you may miss the opportunities that are there. And that's not to freak you out. This is for you to come back to like the soul purpose of why you're the soul, SOUL purpose for why you're doing this. And not focus so much on like the finances of it. So this is
Mm,
being like, thinking too, what is it? Like tunnel vision. I'm like wordless today. It's terrible.
well, Mercury retrograde, but she's standing
In a doorway.
at a
Right,
doorway.
so this King of Pentacles is obsessive energy about money, about finances, about stability. It's also obsessive energy about status. So that whole conversation we just had about this feeling of needing to be received in a certain way in order to be like legitimate or um, adored or admired, right? I think of that Leo rising energy. Like you just want to be seen and adored for who you are, which I
Yeah.
love that. But this King of Pentacles in reverse energy is about focusing too much on what that status is and having people needing people to see you a certain way in order for you to feel acceptable or good enough or respected or what, insert whatever adjective you need there. So this is the energy of needing to find a balance between the material and the spiritual. So I just keep hearing come back to the SOUL purpose of why you're here. I also have the what's that you have some
Have some
patience.
fucking patience.
Yeah, so I got the Chariot in reverse, which is like dead stop, right? Like that's not fast moving. That's like, oh, we're going to stop you in your tracks for a moment so that you can actually take stock of what's happening here. I just want to look that up because I know that there's really going to be some phrase in here that's helpful.
Pause.
Huh.
You just pause, take a step back, and let the situation breathe.
Yeah. So the Chariot card, so there's a white horse and a black horse. This is also its fastest moving card in the deck. This is victory at speed. It's also balance. You see that black and white. It's balancing. When it's in the reverse, this is about lack of energetic focus or self discipline. So you're putting your mind energy and your heart energy into only small parts of this bigger thing. And it's almost like you've retracted your faith in it and you've become really hyper focused on how do I build this empire?
Mm-hmm.
So it can almost feel like you're going the wrong direction. You may feel a little bit stuck or stagnant. Like that's the epitome of this card right now is like you're being held in place until you can come back to some sort of a balance. And this Ace of Cups, that is again a gift from the universe, right? Ace of Cups it's about emotional, it's about pure unconditional love overflowing. It is not about necessarily love between two people. It's about the love you have for yourself. So this energy, again, let me just pull it up in the book here. When it's in the reverse, this is needing to really get down to business when it comes to self-love
Yeah.
and no more repressing of your emotions. I know you've been working on that a lot, but this is really opening up to how you allow love to move through you. It's how you allow your soul calling to move through you and letting go of the rest, right? Because everything falls into place when you can actually come home to yourself and love yourself. She said, oh my God, y'all are killing me. Going slow
Mm.
is so
Oh, I
hard.
bet a Leo rising with an Aries sun is probably like trying to put the brakes on fire. I mean, how do you stop a fire? You got to quench that shit. Like, how do you contain fire?
Mhm.
And I feel you. I'm a Leo rising. Leo moon, Leo rising. I get it.
I pulled the devil card again. So there's some like stuff.
Dang, that's
Yeah,
a lot of.
that's a lot of tied and bound energy. This is so the meaning of this card in this deck is going to be a little bit different because that Light Seers deck has different energy than my traditional Rider Waite. But so this is, again, a need for liberation from some patterns. It's healthy versus unhealthy patterns that you have. It's materialism. It's feeling hyper focused on what you are holding tight to. Like, what is it that's consuming most of your time and attention right now? And then addressing that. So this is also delving into the shadow self. So what is there? What is there that's causing you? What's the root cause of why you're hyper focused on one thing in particular, or materialism, or money, or whatever it is? This can also be, well, how do you need to be really honest with yourself about some stuff? So, yeah, being trapped in your own stories. I think you're doing some deep shadow work right now.
Yeah, definitely. Because as she was saying that too, the Tower card came up for me,
Mm.
right? So this is going to be sudden shifts, sudden changes.
Or just aha moments.
Yeah. King of Wands
Yeah.
energy came out with it too, though, but that's Aries, Leo, Sag. That's all your fire energy, right? But this is visionary. So it's like sudden shifts and epiphanies in the vision, you know? Maybe
Mhm.
this isn't what it was supposed to be. Maybe this isn't like sometimes when things don't come together, it's like it wasn't supposed to come together in that version of what you thought it was supposed to be, like Two of Cups in reverse on the bottom. So maybe that's something not coming into cohesion
Yeah.
with somebody else, right? Or like, oh, what we're doing, it's not fulfilling the way that I thought it was going to be, and now it's become more stressful than it needs to be.
Mhm. Do you
You know
have
what?
Ezra with you?
I have Zanaya with me.
Oh, I saw somebody on the stairwell and I was like, what was that?
Zanaya? I don't know if she came down though.
It
I
was
heard her wake up.
really quick. And I was like, what did I just see?
I do have a ghost here. I
Well,
do
I
have a
saw
ghost
something
here.
on your stairwell.
And other people have seen the ghost. So that's always fun when people come to my house and they're like, "Did you see that?" And I'm like, "Tell me what you saw." They're like, "A little boy." I'm like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
that's him."
I mean, like we've talked about that. We've talked about the little boy. But
Talked about the little boy. So yeah, Bobby, coming to a new layer of healing. Welcome to your new layer of healing. It's already started. It's already in motion. It's already in action. Um, the fire, just what I see in my head is like, and I'm a Taurus, so I'm always related to food. But when you're making creme brulee and you got your little torch, man,
yeah, burn.
you got your
Oh,
little torch.
I just pulled self-worth. I think this is like your big lesson, right? Is what do you want to draw to you? And do you actually think you're worthy of having it? And
Ooh,
okay, so a bulging disc is, that's your
back
back, your spine is like, how are you
support.
supported? How do you feel like you're able to stand and support yourself? How are you supported by
Mhm.
others? Um,
Yeah, look at leg and foot stuff. That's
yeah, being
stability.
able to
That's
move
quite that's all that
forward.
pentacle energy, like questioning your stability, or being Aries energy with the self. It's questioning your own ability to provide your stability
Mhm.
without somebody else, right? Like these are very legitimate things that we come into question of, how much can I self provide without other people, right?
Well, and a bulging disc takes time to heal, and I know these things are so frustrating for you. But it's interesting that it's all down your left side, which is the feminine side.
I was just gonna say
Yeah,
feminine,
and
maternal.
well, and she has several children, so that maternal energy is there, but, like, like, when things are happening on our left side, it's telling us that we've been neglecting our feminine energy for a really long time because we've had to be protecting ourselves and
Mhm.
our masculine. And for her in particular, she's just learning how to do this. So, um, and the fact that this is taking so long, like this is a lesson that's con- consistently there, which I know is frustrating.
Truly it is.
Oh
I
my
get it.
gosh.
I
Yeah.
get it.
I'm going to just see
Hope,
what else comes up.
hope you feel better soon, though.
I mean, I got like this is aligned as fuck, and I got this feels good. So, like, where you're at is where you're supposed to be, even though it's deeply uncomfortable. No one is immune to this energy right now. No one. Even like the most hardened people who have done a lot of their healing, they're affected by this because ultimately we're all evolving here.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're showing up in Earth School, we still have shit to work through. Like, even if we volunteered to be here because we've got a certain skill set, like, we're still evolving. We're still going to be affected, like, in this very human way of working through our lessons. So know that you're not alone in these big ones. These big lessons. Yep, I got better not and not yet. So you are meant to be in this space where you're digging in. And I don't know if that's helpful for you or not, or if it's just like,
Sometimes with all the fire
solidarity.
energy, you just got to roll your eyes and just be like,
Oh my God. And I just pulled the Eight of Wands in reverse. Eight of Wands in reverse is delays. So you're being held in place right now. It's waiting. It's frustration. It's biding your time. I hear you, girl. Like, I hear you.
Yeah. All right. So that. Thank you, BB. All right. So if y'all made it this far, thank you so much. Dude, again, April 26th to the 28th, come join us in Las Vegas for Souls and Stardust Sleepover. We're going to have all kinds of events from Friday and Saturday. And knowing us, probably some casual hanging out on Sunday until Shannon goes back to Wisconsin. Can we pull some relationship stuff for collective reading? We didn't do that at the beginning. We just did like collective stuff. But I'm like, you know what? We hit that. Dude, every single person I know is going through relationship.
It's hard out there for a pimp right now.
I love you. So this is collective energy for one-to-one relationships right now. Because Aries season is teaching us who we are, who we really are.
And what we need and what we want and how to be direct about it. Like, I think I've used my voice more in the last few weeks than I have in probably an entire marriage,
Mm-hmm. Okay, some shady shit going on. Pull into those shadows. Shine some light on your shadows. What needs to be worked on? What needs to be brought to the surface? What has been at the bottom of the ocean that needs to come to the top?
My cards don't want to come out. Oh, there we go. Oh, Ten of Swords and Three of Pentacles. So Ten of Swords she is like walking away from something and looking at the horizon that's full of light. Ten of Swords is like
There's a lot of
historically that's a card of like literally getting stabbed in your back, like not literally but like figuratively on the card. It shows failure. It literally. So it's Ten of Swords is painful endings. It can be being stabbed in the back, so being betrayed. It's an opportunity to find deep healing. That is I think that's the epitome of this energy right now. So it's also it's also an opportunity to find hope and resiliency. So we're collectively being shown what we get to heal, especially in relationships. And there are people being eclipsed out of our lives for good reason. And it's sad, but we can't hold on to it. If this is what's supposed to be happening, it's what's supposed to be happening. I also pulled the 3 of Pentacles, which is also, it's a card about cooperation and building something. I feel like that is telling us collectively that whatever we're moving into, we want to make sure it's the energy of working together, that there's cooperation and collaboration, that there's teaching and learning happening, that you're actually sharing and listening, that it's a relationship where people both want to work together on building something beautiful, and there's no limit to what you can manifest together, what you can create as a result of that cooperation. So this is what's coming in as you're leaving behind, like, the things that don't serve you. You're making room for that collaboration.
I got time apart may be on the horizon, but it's all for the best. Loosen your grip and allow this shit to unfold naturally. I literally pull that card almost every time. That one or the all is aligning and divine timing card. What's interesting though, I got time apart maybe on the horizon, but at the bottom of the deck is prioritize alone time together to deepen the connection. So it's like, if I have to say eclipse energy is pulling things apart, don't worry, because as you have the time apart is when you can really evaluate who you are, who they are. And when you do prioritize your alone time together, it's different now, because now you can
Yeah, maybe it
feel
means
free
more.
to speak
Yeah.
up and to communicate and to appreciate. And I was just thinking, like Zanaya told me, one of the Khalil Gibran quotes is about like there's space in our togetherness. And like, when you're looking at a picture, there's the subject, but there's also a ton of negative space, but it's still all part of the same big picture.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful.
I also got 4-4, of course, trust, ask, listen, and allow. So again, this is about communication, right? You have to speak up for what you want, what you need, what kind of clarity. You have to learn to speak up for and advocate for yourself if things aren't going right or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
1111, take me home. This is the second time I pulled this one. Pathway to true love. So this is taking you home to yourself,
Wow.
right? I always say true love is like your true love to self, not
Mm-hmm.
externally. But then we got 7-7 king, divine masculine.
I'll take one of those, please.
Look at all that fire though. Bottom of the deck, past life healing.
Nice. Or that
Voyager's journey.
dragonfly.
Isn't that crazy though? Voyager's journey. So
Mhm.
this soul journey together, this soul journey of us with the energy, look, time apart on the horizon, but focus on time together. That's not just here and now. Think of that. If that's coming up on the past life soul connection level,
Mhm.
lifetimes apart, lifetimes together. What does this lifetime together look like now that you've had some lifetimes apart? Now that you've missed each other for centuries and eons, and now that you
Damn.
exist, what's that going to look like? And are we going to fuck that up by overcomplicating it and overthinking?
Well, probably. I pulled the Judgment card in reverse. This is self-doubt, hiding behind masks. This is you not being authentic, and the need to let go of a shadow aspect of your story. So what are you telling the world about yourself, or what are you telling yourself about yourself? And this is also denying yourself and your loved ones the experience of who you truly are. How are we adapting ourselves in order to make something work? Wow, that is hitting profoundly. I think probably for others too. So this is a time of, again, this energy that we're in. It's about getting super real with yourself, and it's about looking at your shadow and all of the bullshit that's actually stood in your way from expanding the way that you need to. How have you been playing small, or like hiding behind the version of you that you think is more palatable? You can't do that anymore in this new energy.
I don't have time for
I
that.
No, and it's so disappointing. Like, at the end of everything, it's so disappointing when somebody doesn't receive you the way you hope to. Well, you're not even showing them the real you anyway.
Mhm.
So, like, who fucked up here, right? You s we have to give people who we really are and let them decide if that's for them.
That's
I
my
also
big thing. That's
I think
that's
that's a big
huge.
thing for a lot of us. We just wanna be loved and accepted, and if we grew up in a situation where we had to be something other than we are in order to keep things calm and, moving smoothly, we were conditioned to be what others need us to be in order for things to be okay, and that's just not gonna fly anymore.
Yeah. That's why you
Also
gotta
the
fix the parental wounds and all that shit, because that
Yeah.
is the stuff we're imitating and playing out in our relationships these days.
The fool in reverse too. So again, like we're thinking in the construct of relationships and love. This is being naive. This is assuming you already have the answers. I would venture to say this is also us wanting to control outcomes. This could
I'm
be
really good at that.
rash or impulsive choices. So, like, I wouldn't go right now, I wouldn't go, like, block somebody because they're not acting the way that you need them to act, but I would sit and ask yourself, like, "What am I really feeling here? Am I disappointed? Am I frustrated? Am I angry? What am I expecting, and why am I expecting that? Like, are they capable? Did I place an expectation on them because of something that is within me that I need, and I'm assuming they can give it to me. We have to let people show us what they're capable of, and we have to believe it when they do show us. And when we project onto them our ideas, that sets us up for disappointment, right? So this is being rash, being impulsive. This is also lacking experience. So this is your opportunity now to learn as much about yourself as possible and about the situation. Like, what are the situations teaching you about yourself with regard to love and relationship? And how are we abandoning ourselves? How are we not speaking up? How are
Mm,
we not asking for what we want and need? All of those things that would create disharmony in relationship or lack of fulfillment because expectations aren't met. So I don't know, man. I think we're clearing the slate on a lot of stuff.
mhm. You're overthinking it.
Yeah, this is the fool in reverse is also analysis paralysis, right?
Uh,
So not being able to move forward because
Make a move.
yeah, you're
Now is the time, make a move.
I
See,
I
now is
have
all we
to
got.
I took a screenshot of my co-star because the notification popped up while we were talking earlier, and it said this is for me, but like it's applicable to the collective message. Are you trying to figure out what they need you to be first?
Damn.
So today you're not sure you're on the right path. It's hard to start over when you hold on to the past. Why do you care so much about what other people think? Be open to people changing their minds about things as well as their beliefs or feelings. So
Damn.
the only thing we can do is show up as ourselves. And when we show up as any version of ourselves that's inauthentic, we are doing a disservice to ourselves and to others. So my dues are text them first. So there's so many of us like, look at that, the lovers. There's so many of us are like, well, I'm just not going to reach out, or I'm always the one to reach out first, or they don't want to
Mhm.
hear from me. Like all these stories that we tell ourselves. And the most authentic thing we can do is at the 3 of cups in reverse.
Yeah.
The most authentic thing we can do is just be like, fuck it. This is how I feel. This is what I want to do. I'm going to do it. And however they receive it is on them. You don't have to attach anything to that beyond, I did what I felt compelled to do and I'm showing up as me. And that's a really courageous thing to do, especially if you're putting yourself out there in a position that Queen of Cups, there's the emotion. Um, Especially if we're putting ourselves in the position of rejection, like the potential for rejection. And again, like who we are and what they do with who we are has nothing to do with us, right? It has everything to do with their capacity to hold that and their readiness and whatever. So we have to teach ourselves not to take it so personally.
Mhm.
So text them first. a night in and let your phone die, right?
Step out of your comfort zone,
Yeah.
which is literally what I feel like I've been going through in this whole like process, right? Believe in the impossible is stepping out of the comfort zone, speaking up, because repeating those childhood patterns of like, oh, if I do or say or upset somebody, they're going to go away, or
Mhm.
like whatever these beliefs. That's what this eclipse is bringing up when it's paired with Chiron the way that it is. It's the wounded
Absolutely.
healer. Chiron is the one we help others heal, even though we're not fully healed ourselves.
Mhm.
you know this is us at least having a better understanding of our trauma and our wounds and bringing those into our sense of self, so that this is how we show up in our partnerships, relationships, business partnerships, as a parent.
Yes.
It all starts with yourself. So yeah. All right, so again, thank you for joining us, and
Yeah.
we will see you in Vegas April 26th to the 28th. I have to jump, and I'm going to figure out what happened with our website at 8 a.m. as soon as we went live.
Yeah. So
So I will
wild.
troubleshoot that and see if I can get that all squared away. And then, yeah, visit us, soulsandstardustpodcast.com. We'll be emailing out the agenda for the Souls and Stardust sleepover weekend here in Vegas soon. So if you can't join us, we'll have a la carte options where if you want to pop in for an event here or there, you can. And then we'll have full day passes where if you want to join us and come hang and sleep over and, you know, eat some snackies and stuff.
Eat some snackies.
All right. We love
All
you
right, you
guys.
guys. Thanks so much.
Hey, bye.